So just a quick what's going on. This morning we have to replace a jet motor on our B boiler, which is this big guy here. If we take a look at the back end of this motor, we'll see a lot of black flaking coming out. Unfortunately, the rear bearings have gone out of this motor, which has made this boiler not able to be operated, so we've been down to one boiler. Fortunately, we found a motor, and today we're going to get this one taken off and get the new motor put in place, which requires the removal of course, the motor housing plate, and the wiring going to it, and there's a big blower inside here that we have to contend with. So I'll kind of run step by step as we get to going. I got a boiler getting ready to turn on here, so we'll turn back on for our next step here once I get the power shut off and things ready to go. So the first step is to, number one, shut the main power off to the boiler so we don't have a shocking experience. Then our second part is we're going to remove the main power supply from the motor. So that's been taken care of. Caution has been taken. Make sure that our power is completely gone. We check it with a volt tester just to make sure, because never is a breaker box 100% deal. So as you can see, we got that taken loose. Now I'm going to remove the housing bolts, which will take just a few minutes, rather housing nuts, and we'll come back once those nuts have been removed. Okay, we're on the last nut now, which is going to allow us to take the blower assembly out. We want to make sure we bring this thing out as straight as possible, as to not damage the vanes of the blower. And there we have it. So now we'll take a wander over to the workbench and we'll get some measurements made so that we get the new motor put back on exactly as the old. Alright, so now I've taken the measurements that I'm concerned about. Basically the gap measurement from the blower wheel to the housing. We want to keep that the same so that we don't hit the case when we put this back in. Now we have to take the vane wheel off of the motor, which we have an Allen set key that we have to loosen up, and then this will pull off of the electric motor. Now with the aid of the wheel puller, we were able to remove the fan from the electric motor, and now we'll be taking the mounting plate off of the motor so that we can put it on the new one. We want to make sure that we line up our power inlet from the original motor to the new motor, and we're just going to simply lift the mounting plate off and sidestep it over here onto the new motor. These tightened in, we'll get them torqued down to specification. And this motor, so you can see in the back end we've lost a lot of bearing, and the motor was getting very, very loud. It's making a terrible grinding noise, so we're going to take it down to the electric doctor and see if they can rebuild it. so that we have a spare, and if not, well, we won't have a spare. Now we have that successfully mounted, so we need to clean up the blower a bit. If we look down inside the vanes, we can see a lot of buildup. Just dirt that it's pulled in through the years. If we keep that clean, we won't have to worry about the blower going out of balance, which is what causes the bearings to go bad more times than not in an electric motor. So we're going to clean this up and we'll be back. Alright, so we got the blower cleaned up. We've installed the new keyway or key chuck. I'm going to slide this down over the motor shaft. Being careful not to damage anything, we're going to lightly tap to bring the shaft all the way through the fan. We're using a hollow pipe to do that. And we'll get things adjusted here and we will be back. Now everything has been measured out. We've got to tighten down the set screws now, which will keep the blower from dislodging from the motor. So we'll get that tightened down, we'll be back. Alright, the new motor is now mounted and is ready to go back into the boiler. Again, being very careful to not damage anything here. Washer and a nut. Get things started. And we'll get that tightened down and we'll be back for the next step. Okay, the motor is successfully in place now. Now we got to get our wiring done, which is pretty simple. Just have a couple of connections to make. The makers of the boilers and motors and so forth made it very easy for us. We have an A terminal and a B terminal. All we have to do is simply plug these little guys in and fold them neatly in so that we don't have them marking off on something or wearing coatings off. And we are wired and ready to go. Put our back plate back on, which keeps everything nice and clean. Get it on there straight. Tightened on. All right, I'm going to shut down my A boiler, switch everything over to B boiler so we can run a test once the pressure comes down. Checked our fan to make sure we have clearance, there's nothing rubbing. So we're going to put our access panel back on. power the unit back on and allow it to run its self-diagnostics. Make sure we don't have any problems. And everything is showing a go. So as soon as the steam pressure comes down and our system calls for heat, then we'll be able to get a test run on this motor. These boilers are 24 years old. We've had no major breakdowns with them. These motors have been replaced. This one was replaced once from what I understand, and this one has been replaced twice. So not bad for considering how much they run. Very good steam systems, quite efficient for as big of a building as we have. So we're going to let the steam pressure come down and wait for it to call for heat, and then we'll see how things sound. Alright, that sound means that we are getting ready to fire the boiler. That is our outside damper opening up to let fresh air in. And momentarily we will see a call for heat light turn on, which will cue the blower. Appears to be functioning very nice and quiet, no vibrations. System seems happy. It is running its pre-fire test. This boiler will check its gas valves, its airflow, before it will open a gas valve. It has 3 fail-safes. Should one of the 3 gas valves fail, another one's going to step in to keep the building safe. It also has 2 safety shutoffs that are low water shutoffs. It has 3 safety shutoffs that are high pressure shutoffs. So a very, very safe system. We're going to go around the rear so we can look into the peephole, and you can kind of watch what happens inside the boiler when it gets ready to fire. You're going to see a pre-ignition start up, which is basically a big pilot light. There's the pilot light. Got a nice blue flame. About 10 seconds it will fire the main burner. The main burner has fired. And I can see we have some orange in the flame, so we're going to have to adjust the airflow a little bit. And the reason why is the new motor is spinning a little bit different on the speed. So we're drawing just a little bit more than we were before, so we're going to throttle that back. We're going to get our flame blue again. Okay, so we got the boiler adjusted. Still got a touch of orange in there, so we're just going to have to see how she does here over the next couple days. But the new blower is in and functioning well, so we've got nothing to worry about. And so that's what we did today.